From DC Studios' latest film making a lowly $55 million debut to Henry Cavill's Superman not being in the final cut. This is how the Flash movie flopped. The film starring Ezra Miller became one of the biggest financial disappointments of the superhero era. It didn't exactly hit the mark with its weekend debut box office total. Warner Bros. Discovery was hoping to land a $70 million opening, but only pulled in $55.1 million over the three-day opening weekend. While it did better than Pixar's Elemental, it still didn't reach the mark that they were hoping for. Both films had a big budget, and The Flash's marketing tried to cement the project as one of the greatest superhero movies ever made, according to DC Studios' new co-chief James Gunn. The movie flopping came as a huge shock. After all, a movie featuring The Flash, two Batmans, and Supergirl couldn't pull in more of an audience. It was a shock for Warner Bros. Discovery's CEO David Zaslav, who had high hopes for the movie and stressed a lot about the company's DC revamp. So why did the movie fail in the first place? It might have been a flop because of the legal troubles of Miller. The star joined the DC Extended Universe in 2016's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. It turns out that they're one of the major reasons The Flash didn't succeed. The 30-year-old has faced multiple allegations in the past, which include harassment, burglary, disorderly conduct, and trespassing. That's not everything the actor has done either. That's quite a list, no? To everyone's surprise, Warner Bros. Ignored these problems, brought the American actor to a premiere, and let them talk to the press as if nothing had happened. And that's not the worst of it. The Justice League star received praise from director Andy Muschietti and Gunn, who said they couldn't have found a better actor to play the superhero. But fans were having none of it. They couldn't separate art from reality, and weren't willing to see Ezra's standalone effort as The Flash. Honestly speaking, I don't blame them. The perks of being a wallflower actor played two versions of Barry and was in practically every scene of the film, and often the only person on screen. No wonder fans didn't bother watching the movie at all. After all this drama, controversy, and news about them getting mental health support in 2022, Miller made their first public comments at the Flash premiere in almost 2 years and shocked fans everywhere. Do they think people will forget? It sure looks that way. On June 12, 2023, at the Los Angeles premiere of the long-awaited DC film, the actor praised Muschietti, saying that they loved him and thought he was amazing, and that his work was stellar. They also thanked Zaslav, Warner Bros. Film group heads Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdy, as well as Peter Safran and Gunn, and the cast for being so caring during the filming of the movie. Ezra said that they were grateful and happy to star in the movie, and it was wonderful to see everyone there to celebrate it. The Fantastic Beasts star said that Barry had all the key details that a hero needs. Besides the obvious superpower of the Flash, other qualities made Barry stand out, such as his compassion, his ability to see between right and wrong, and his willingness to sacrifice for his family. There were two Barrys who had different life experiences. One of them had been through a lot of heartache and pain, while the other one had all the privileges life had to offer. Miller apologized to everyone they'd upset with their past behavior, and explained that their actions were often due to complex mental health issues. They also said that they were committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthier life. Fans weren't too happy about their attendance. They asked if the actor was going to face any consequences for their actions, and disapproved of them taking on the role of the Flash. But Miller can't be blamed entirely for the movie's failure. A poor approach to the nostalgic pull of Michael Keaton's Batman also played a role in the Flash's failure. Warner Bros. Thought Keaton's return as Batman would be a massive draw for the movie, but they couldn't have been more wrong. The Caped Crusader was stellar in his return, but most people under 18 probably wouldn't have seen his movies. The creators based an entire marketing campaign around Batman in the late 80s and 90s. As great as Keaton was, the movies didn't age well, and he's not a superstar anymore. The next reason is something that can kill a movie. Yes, I'm talking about bad word of mouth. Rotten Tomatoes makes a big difference in a movie's opening weekend. In The Flash's case, it hit a B Cinema score, making it the lowest-rated DCEU movie. This was due to insanely high expectations or the movie just being mediocre, causing viewers to walk out of theaters unimpressed. Adding fuel to the fire, headlines about a bad opening weekend confirmed that the movie wasn't worth seeing. This vicious cycle has damaged the movie beyond repair. While some hardcore DC fans might have liked the movie, it just didn't do well enough. With a lack of genuine surprises and early fan screenings, The Flash performed worse than its already low expectations. The creators could have easily ended The Flash with the new DCU by pushing the movie beyond Blue Beetle and the Aquaman sequel. They could have taken the time to shoot a new ending, which settled the fact that the world we once knew had gone. That didn't happen, and surprises were few. Cameos and a tacked-on ending with George Clooney didn't help, confusing casual fans. The trailers tried their best to take the attention away from Miller by showing many of Batman and Supergirl's best moments. Michael Keaton's return wasn't teased enough. Otherwise, it might have gotten people excited. Even early fan screenings, which were supposed to generate positive buzz, led to the movie's biggest moments being leaked online. Clips, screenshots, and full-blown plot breakdowns were all over TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter for weeks. So those who were curious about the movie could see everything they wanted without going into a theater. This was a simple case of overhyping a film, all thanks to Zaslav and Gunn, who promised one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. It's certainly not the best superhero film to come out, so those claims don't do justice to the film. It also ended by killing two of its only beloved characters, so that further explains why people would rather not watch the movie at all. Fans were confused about the DC reboot, which was supposed to be done by Gunn and Safran when they planned to take over the Warner Brothers comic book universe in a completely new direction. The Flash sets a poor example for the new Warner Box strategy, and I think it'll only get worse from here. Sadly, the world of DC has struggled compared to Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. It'd learn a thing or two from the Marvel movies, which have continuity, something that is missing from the DC reboot. Shazam also had an equally disappointing debut in the spring. The franchise needs a break and as much of a clean slate as possible. The studio needs to allow Gunn, Safran, and DC to start from scratch, and this is going to be a tough challenge. Fans will continue to be confused over the next few years, but it'll ultimately come down to the quality of the movies over time, which means the world of DC still has a chance. But the studio itself killed interest in the DCEU in The Flash when it didn't cast Henry Cavill as Superman. The fan-favorite Man of Steel, who vowed everyone at the end of Black Adam, wasn't there in the final cut of the film. Cavill's Superman was one of the main attractions, and fans were sad when they didn't spot him in the movie. When Gunn and Safran tried to sell Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters to journalists in late January 2023, it didn't build excitement for DCEU movies, but lessened it. With unclear information about which films would be part of the new DC universe to Cavill ousted as Superman, fans didn't want to stick around. While Gunn will reunite with at least some actors from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot won't be there, just like Cavill. I can only hope that fans can overlook these reasons, and The Flash still manages to perform decently in the upcoming days. So, there you have it. From Henry Cavill's Superman not being in the final cut, to DC Studios' latest film making a lowly $55 million debut. That was how The Flash movie flopped.